Hello and thank you all for watching. This is Manny Sunny Sun for a full moon astrological report. We begin on April the 4th. The moon is in Aries. April 4th, 2015 is on 14 degrees 24 minutes on Aries moon phase at the axis on Libra. For the sun is on the 5th degree of Aries. Sabian symbol is an Indian weaves a ceremonial garment. Dominant living in the intuition that we have harmony and wholeness. To the moon on the 15th degree of Libra says circular paths, dominant living with inevitable rhythms of social activity. Christian tradition refers to the seamless robe of Jesus. In Asia we speak of the spiritual habit of perfect. His coat is the universe, the Milky Way is a big white dress, the stars are supreme, the Penelope also wove clothes and dissatisfied skin, waiting the return of her beloved. It must be said that this is an American, the clairvoyant and medium Elsa Wheeler, who gave Marc Jones in the San Diego park setting forms of these symbols. She could think of any Indian weaver as the white man if he wants to bring total harmony with the universe, can be fascinated by Indian traditions, which of course for him are response of the inner emptiness of a city and life and the artificial values we make him feel. This degree is perhaps a mystic one, but he says to each of us that there is always a moment when it is impossible of self-awareness and be immersed in a veil of light. And what light symbol can this be? The lunar eclipse. For if we speak of circular paths, we must see that we see daily domestic or professional activities that tend to be repeated in a circular pattern. So it is important to give moments of rest that will escape these rehearsals and live more in harmony with the universal rhythms, with the risk of suffering the consequence of discouraging monotony if you don't. The full moon of April of April 4th of 2015, the full moon is on the axis of Aries Libra axis, a cardinal axis that is, makes a T-square to Pluto. The sun is about to go on Uranus. Mercury conjuncts with the south node in Aries. Jupiter returns direct. But Pluto is in retrograde. This is the sixth and final consecutive full moon on the 5th degree of a sign, a strong midpoint on the biological or energy plan which when exceeded, the energy of this sign to manifest fully. Many of fire and cardinal signs can be affected by this. And from April 6th, the sun passes over the rebellious Uranus in a sign passionate. What we will be ready to question in numerological synchronicity, 4 plus 4, gives 2015, gives 16, the house of God. When the voltage is too high, it is necessary that the storm broke. The storm is the crisis needed to release tensions or passions that led to disorder and destruction. After the storm, the sky is released from its draws and peace can reign again. Upheaval is inevitable. Events are also unpredictable, certainly, but at the rescue and relief, a liberation, a birth of something new. An eclipse of the moon of North Node, while the sun is precisely conjunct the South Node and makes us free from old patterns specific to Aries, especially since the sun is exactly conjunct Uranus in Aries in this eclipse. It is in Earth that's interposed between the sun and the moon. The same eclipses in the same place happened on April the 4th in 1996. What have we lived then that can be linked to what is happening today? In this eclipse, the North Node, the past is overshadowed and the Sun conjunct the South Node helps bring order within the past, old image to release, but also creative release. Sun-Uranus conjunction. If your consciousness turns to the path of freedom by cutting the head of Aries, of old patterns obsolete for new relationships, Libra, April 8th. Back again, straight phase of Jupiter, master of square to Saturn. Neptune in Sagittarius Pisces, Saturn square Neptune, Sagittarius and Saturn, Pisces and Neptune, who defeated at time because of the retrograde Saturn, but will soon return to full force. Jupiter will feel happy to see an end to the solitary and withdrawal period in Leo, trying to master the sun. Trine Uranus, a sextile to the moon staggered to Pluto. It will express his enthusiasm. He will finally be able to assert its right to participate active in social life. But whom he learned during this 4 months of demotion, what will he learn in relation to Leo in our lives? Compared to our image and our external representation, compared to our creativity and what we have learned, he will consider new social ideals and employ wisdom with a new attitude, a way of a royalty that can eliminate certain social standards previously followed by too blindly, often discouraging and blocking of our inner growth. April 10th, we have a superior conjunction to Sun and Mercury. 20 degrees in Aries can precisely help us reap what we have sown of at an inferior conjunction happen on January 30th at 10 degrees Aquarius and perhaps allows us to establish a new dialogue, lively and innovative, using the Aquarian spirit of openness, but knowing also expressed emotionally that cannot always be in Aquarius. April 11th, precisely Venus enters Gemini. Swirling live, she will speak to great seduction. Immediately a sesqui square to Pluto, Jupiter quintile semi-square to Uranus, and opposed to Saturn. It is well equipped to overcome his anxieties and release it in a creative direction without the fear of speaking up, without of his feelings. April 18th, just before the new moon, Pluto goes into retrograde. 5 months to break free of the fears of doubts that prevent us from taking our flight, with Pluto becomes forward again on September 25th, just before the release of the last lunar eclipse of North Node on September 28th, 2015, which ends its four eclipses of 2014-2015. It cannot be a coincidence. Saturn is always in 5 degrees of Sagittarius. He asks us to be more tolerant of others and their opinions, to change the mentality, but fear of the unknown growing can see up strengths, nicknamed safe for movements. And conclusion, hard not to think of the new moon of December 22nd, which opened with the winter solstice, a very strong energy portal, and the full moon of January the 5th that followed with the atrocities of January 7th and 9th on France, this time of the new moon of March 20th, which opened the spring equinox, another very high energy portal continues today with the full moon to the T-square to Pluto. In other words, the full moon of January 5th saw the Sun to Pluto square Uranus. This full moon sees Sun Uranus square Pluto. The axis of the nodes is very involved in this full moon, with the lunar eclipse on the North Node and Sun conjunct the South Node and Uranus. The impact will be, of course, some serious events globally, release on an individual level, or amazing but a challenging time simultaneously, an obligation to emerge out of the Aries matrix, to build something new on the vibrational level. Aries more often is about attacks of the moment, and it's about instinct, without always thinking, without the impact, any relational consequence of what just occurred. This is the link of this lunation swept by two eclipses, South Node and North Node, with voltages that can appear in the relational axis Aries, Libra, obligations to negotiate an absolute, need to swap the past and terminate obsolete diagrams. These axes to come to balance again and again during the next 6 months. In the next pair of eclipses happening on September of 2015. Well, thank you all for watching. This has been a full moon astrological report. Thank you for watching.